We're heading up to Christmas and everyone is thinking about presents, whether they're for family or friends or for business clients. We've all seen the endless stream of bottles of booze that traipse through the office to the manager's desk, but is that really the most effective way to spend your marketing money if you're in business? I've been seeing a lot of talk recently on social media, people asking for help and ideas. So Veronica, Trethewey, is here to talk about business gifting and the strategies behind it. Welcome to Taking Care of Business, Veronica.
Thank you, Jane. Nice to be here.
So why do we give gifts when we're in business?
Well, in business, we are really about networking with people, gaining a relationship with our business partners. So giving gifts in business is all about building relationships. So we do corporate gifting to build relationships and to show appreciation for the business that's been done, or maybe for business for the future.
Great. So it's not just for people that you've already done business with.
You may decide to gift to someone that you're actually interested in doing business with as well.
Ah, a little bit of bribery. Is it bribery?
I don't know. Would you think so?
I guess it depends what sort of gift.
It depends on the relationship.
Ah, good answer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is Christmas the only time we should be gifting?
Well, I actually recommend not to gift at Christmas time before corporate gifting because it gets lost in all the other gifts. So if you want to gift in your business, we recommend that you gift during certain times in the year. It may seem ad hoc to the person who receives the gift, but you might decide to gift your client on their birthday or when they have a child. So I recently gifted a client of mine who had their second baby, and I gifted them a height chart for the family, and that was just well received and awesome, and then that led to referral later down the track for me.
It's a really well-considered gift. And also, I guess, at that kind of time, at Christmas, that we just get lost, don't we, in all of the gifts floating around?
We definitely do, yeah. And how many bottles of wine have you had, perhaps, that you go, where did that come from?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, while we're talking about that, if you're giving a gift, how do you let people know that it's from you? Do you brand your gift, slap a sticker on it, or?
That's a really great question, Jane. We recommend that you don't actually brand your gift, because if you're giving a gift to somebody, you're actually giving it to them, and you should be making the gift about that person, not you or your business. So we recommend that you find out what your client really loves, and then you find a great gift for that person. Not to brand it with your brand, but you can incorporate your business colours in that. So subtle branding is more what we recommend.
And I guess maybe building that relationship and writing a note or something.
That's perfect, yep. A lovely handwritten note goes a long way these days, because we just don't receive them.
No, we don't. That's unusual. A gift in itself, isn't it? A handwritten note these days.
Definitely.
So if we're not branding the actual gift by putting a sticker on it or making it ours somehow, how else can we make it from us? I mean, a note is fairly easily lost.
It can be. So the trick with corporate gifting, we believe, is making the gift to something that can be cherished by the receiver. So you are after something that they would want to use 365 days a year, so they're not forgetting you. A great corporate gift is a gift that can be used continuously by your client and think about you every time they use it. And also that will lead to them talking about you. If they've got friends and family around and you've gifted something very cherished, they're going to be bringing this out and they'll be talking about you and your business. So it's a great way of getting referral business by corporate gifting.
Absolutely. Like you were talking about that height chart. That's a great idea and a real, real talking point.
Exactly. And I can't imagine people coming around not asking, where'd you get that height chart from?
Yeah, so I guess the key really is to know who you're buying for.
Most definitely. Corporate gifting is about building relationships, so we want to know who we're gifting. Social media is great for stalking people these days. So you can get onto Facebook and suss them out, what they like, what type of comments they make, as well as building that relationship, chatting to them.
So how many people can you really, confidently give an individual gift to? How many people would you suggest being responsible? Like maybe 10, 20? How many do you think?
It may depend on your business and how if you've got lots of employees and they have personal relationships with different people. So that's quite an open-ended question, I think. If you're a one-man band, then maybe it's quite limited. But if you're a large business and your employees deal with specific clients, you can always ask them who they would like to gift.
That's a really great point, because so often the gifting strategy ends up in HR or marketing or whatever it is, and it doesn't come down to the people that actually deal directly with the clients, does it?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Now, what sort of budget are we looking at when we give gifts for corporate clients?
That's a really good question, and that's a question we get a lot of. And budget's really important because it's all to do with cash flow. But if you can think of perhaps how much that client has spent with you over a year, and if you can do a rough calculation between 2 and 5% of what they're spending with you, you can kind of gauge about where you should really be gifting. So, and it can range from a few $100, $1,000 to maybe $80. It just depends on your client, and it depends on what you can find that they will appreciate as well. So it's not necessarily about the dollar value of that gift. It's more about giving your client something they can appreciate.
Yeah, I guess that's where it should all be. It's in the thought.
Correct.
That's where the time and expenses. Time is money and thinking is time, and yeah, I guess a really well-considered gift. I mean, some of my favourite gifts were from an old boss, and he, bless his little heart, he said, I've walked into 3 bookshops and asked for books on belly dancing and everyone's looking at me weird. Can you just buy one for yourself on Amazon? Thanks. Like, bless his heart, he tried, but he would always give a book that was really specific to whatever that person's interest was.
Yeah, exactly. So he's understood corporate gifting.
Yeah, a long time ago. Bless his heart. He's a lovely man. So do you have any suggestions for great gifts, or even better, what shouldn't we be giving, like wine?
That's correct. We don't recommend that you give wine or alcohol for corporate gift. There are some people that do gift that way, and if the receiver's really into it, that's okay. But there's a lot of people in Australia that don't drink, or they don't like wine.
Yeah, I have friends who only drink whiskey or champagne, or they drink red, or they white, or sweet, or dry.
I don't drink. My husband doesn't drink, and we get a bottle of wine and go, oh, thank you. It's not cherished. And so there's no point in gifting if the person doesn't actually appreciate it, because the thought process and that's actually lost. What you're trying to do is build a relationship. So you're showing that you don't actually know that person at all if you're gifting them something that they don't appreciate.
So what's an example of it? Well, you've given us that great example of a height chart. What else? What other great ideas have you seen for personalised gifting?
We've had a client that wanted to gift their business partner a wall map. So he wanted a wall map that could show all where his suppliers, where his clients were. So we designed a great wall map and mounted it and put their business logo on it, not ours, and gave it to the client, and he was wrapped with it. And all his customers go and look at it. He's a mechanic, so all his customers go and they all look at the map, and he's got little pins everywhere where his clients come from. So that's another great idea. There's great local business people in Perth that have awesome products. So you can go to places like the markets, Perth Up Markets, and you can source some great unique gifts.
That's a really great point. As well as you're supporting your customers and clients, if you're supporting local business as well, that adds another great spin.
It does.
Onto your gifting.
Definitely.
Great. Well, if you can maybe help us all out with our Christmas present list this year, Veronica, that would be great.
I would absolutely love to.
Thank you so much, Veronica Trethewey, talking to us about corporate gifting strategy. We hope we've given you all some ideas. Thanks for joining us, Veronica.
Thanks, Jane.